Let me record this. First things first, it was like if you have never been to any type of leadership event or any type of live event, that is where you're missing the boat if you don't go. You need to really make sure that you are getting into a place where you're surrounded with other people where you can, that you can speak to them live, or they can speak to you live, because it really changes your mindset, and it changes like everything. You can just talk to people, you can collaborate with people, you can like sit next to people like, oh, who are you, what team are you from, and then you kind of get ideas. So some of these ideas are from the speakers, but a lot of the ideas that I came up with that we're going to be doing some changes within the team are actually other coaches that I collaborated with when I was there. So it's really, really important to focus on, no matter what goal, is to get to some type of either leadership, make it a goal of yours, okay, to be 2-star qualifying by November 26th. That's the date that you need in order to make it to the next leadership conference, or get to some type of training where Beachbody coaches are hosting, and they do that all the time all over the country. Really, in the back office, you can look and there'll be announcements on different groups. So I really was blown away by what was presented and what was offered. And it's just really important to put it on the radar and just make it happen. So 2 things that hold coaches back, and numerous coaches talked about this, is 1, your mindset. And you need to constantly be checking your mind, your mindset of, is what I'm doing, am I thinking positively? Am I moving forward in my business? Am I, getting in my own way? But constantly, the 3 themes of a lot of the coaches was their mindset. Number 2 is comparing yourself to other coaches, comparing yourself to other people in the business, comparing yourself to feeling inadequate and lost, and making yourself feel, just like you're constantly not good enough. Because that really will be the fastest way to failure, is really comparing yourself to other coaches. So the bottom line is, we know that success doesn't come easy. You have to make a decision what you want in this business. And you need to tell yourself, like right now, what you want to be about is a leader. And you're just going to start being a leader and acting like a leader, and stop telling yourself that what does a leader do and what does a leader, how does a leader think? Like, you just need to start reading leadership books and really focusing on what a leader means for you. So there's 2 parts of this business. We all know that. It's, we set a solid foundation for ourselves and for our business, and then we set a solid foundation for our coaches. So your coaches can choose to run, or they can choose to walk. It's not your job to push them. You're going to find the main movers and the shakers, and you just work with the people that want to run with this business. There's always going to be coaches that come into the business that aren't super go-getters, that aren't people that are going to, come out of the gate signing thousands and thousands of coaches, and that's okay, and we work with them. We just work with those that show us that want to work. So that's where you want to focus your time. So Tracy Morrow was one of the first guest speakers, and she is a superstar diamond coach. She's amazing. And really, she got down to the nitty and gritty of talking about leadership, how leadership is influence. Okay. And everything rises and falls on leadership. And it really is, but that influence is has a lot to do with your integrity. And she really focused on integrity and asking how great leaders ask themselves questions all the time. And so it's not about points, how many points you make in this business, and how many, elite, if you're elite or not, or whether you're a premier coach, or whether you're advancing rank right away. Those things get you in the door and get you to some kind of opportunities, but it's really your integrity that keeps you where you are. And so she talked a lot about focusing on the bigger transformation of your inside versus your outside. We all want to have this big outside transformation, but if you don't have an inside transformation, your business really isn't going to move forward. So some of the questions that she made us think about, I'm just going to read them to you, is do you have the right inner circles, which just was meaning like, are you speaking with the right people that are supporting you? Am I a master of myself so that I can serve a lot of other people? Is my marriage and family a priority? Am I the same person as I am on social media, because you will meet coaches that are very different in real life on social media. And that was very true. I knew about 4 or 5. There's a lot of people that are very true, but very true to themselves. They don't change. But then you meet them in real life and you're like, oh my gosh, they're nothing like they are on social media. It's crazy. And that happened again this time. I met a few people that wanted to meet me. I met them. I wanted to meet them, and they're very different in real life. So you really should be portraying to be the same person. You're not pretending to be anyone different than who you are. Do I allow success or, oh goodness, Makani, no. Do I allow success or titles to change my behavior? Okay. And she said this quote, which I thought was really awesome. Yesterday's trophies, you still have to dust off. So it doesn't matter about, like, you know, these things that you got in the past and all these accolades and these awards and, you know, whether I got a top coach or whether those are great things, or I'm an elite coach. It matters how you are as a person. And you still have to dust yourself off, and you still have to be a good person inside and help inspire others. It doesn't matter, you know, these awards. Do setbacks inspire me, or do they derail me? So your new norm should be to be thankful, to concentrate on the things that are positive in your life, to dwell on the things that, you know, not dwell on the things that we can't change, and to really understand that a very big thing that everyone talked about was that all of them had failures. Every one of these coaches that are now superstar diamond coaches had failures. They sucked at starting challenge groups sometimes. They sucked at helping coaches. Makani, come here. Sorry, guys. And then, am I willing to apologize? And am I an example for others to follow? And really, my top takeaways from that is that our kids grow up way too fast, that we need to make sure we're putting our marriage and our family a priority, that we need to stay true to our integrity of who we are as people. We don't need to change as we get bigger and bigger and bigger, as our team gets bigger, as our coaches, more and more coaches, you know, join us. We don't need to get full of ourselves. We need to, and don't let setbacks inspire us. Don't let setbacks derail you. Let them inspire you to be better coaches. So, okay, stop, honey. Sorry, guys. Okay, so the next person that talked was Michael Neiman. I think you all know who Michael Neiman is. He really talked a lot about just key attributes of leadership, but in numbers. So he did focus a lot about numbers. And I think I'm going to make this for a different call, because I'm going to talk about what exactly it means to be elite, what exactly it means to be premier, how you can break that down monthly to get there. Because I think that should definitely be on your radar if that's something that you want to move your business forward. Like, if you're just telling yourself that you want to be a diamond coach, that's great. That's awesome. But really, when you start to tell yourself that you want to be star diamonds, you're building leaders on your team. And so you really need to think about that in the future. And don't let yourself that's great that you want to become a diamond coach, but that's really not the end point in sight. And that's really what I need to work on with my coaches, because I think that we do want to get diamond, but really, what is the long-term point, like, in this? And so he was talking a lot about, he just broke down, like, how many points you want to have, how many coaches you want to help get into Success Club, how many points you'd have on your week volume leg, that kind of stuff. And so I don't want to go into that, but there is definitely, we're going to talk about that. So if you have elite on the radar or premier on the radar, or you want to be, you know, a certain, you know, in this company or whatever, I would say they call us the movers and the shakers. Like, you need to definitely get on that call. So the next person that talked was Melanie Mitro. If you don't know who that is, that's the #1 coach in America. Okay. She really talked about a culture of recruiting, that if you don't make it a culture of recruiting on your team, your team won't do that. And I do see that on our team a lot, that it's not that, hold on, guys, sorry. It's not that I don't recruit and I don't, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. And I don't push recruiting. It's just that I have had to work on my issues. Oh my gosh, work on my issues of dealing with how I talk to people about coaching and getting over my fears. And, you know, what you fear and what you worry about is what your coaches worry about. And so you really got to start with focusing on setting up systems for success. And that's what we've been really working on this last year. And I'm going to tell you right now, it hasn't been an accident that I went from diamond to 5-star in 1 year. It wasn't because all of a sudden, I was the same person. It just like started magically happening. Hey, it was because I put systems into place. There was a lot of duplication happening, and there was a lot of Makani. Leilani, can you give her? Let me give her a bink, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'll be right back. Need a bink. Okay, sorry guys. So I say that in all seriousness, like we got systems in place. We started doing more open houses so you guys could get your coaches into there. We started doing like, oh my gosh. This is the life of mother, sorry. We started doing that to make sure that you guys had a system to follow. So she talked she began the whole thing with talking about identifying your ideal coach. And who your perfect coach is. And I don't know, and I think it's important to understand that you need to restart recruiting with purpose, okay? So put a blind, like a lot of us just put a blindfold on and we just throw up crazy, like, and I did this too, but you throw up, like, come join my team, yada, yada, yada. What she's talking about is the system and an idea in place. Can you make sure that everyone mutes because a dog's barking and we can hear that? Okay, thank you. A system into place so that you can help your coaches be successful. So she talked a lot about how I identify your coach, and she does this with all her new coaches, is to imagine the perfect coach, okay, that you would feel like a perfect coach. How would you describe that person? So she literally has her coaches like write down like 10 characteristics, like 35 years old, mother of 3, single mom, or whatever it is that these are who you're trying to attract. And she says, hers are faith-based, believes she was created for a purpose, wants to raise children with love, who love themselves. A good thought-provoking novel with some dark chocolate and a good red wine are her ideas of a good date, okay? Doesn't waste a lot of time doubting herself, wants to please people, but not at the cost of integrity. Can you make sure you turn off whoever's dog is barking, mute yourself. Hold on. I don't know. I think it's a phone number. I can't tell who that. Every one of you guys are muted except. Just try to mute yourself, please, guys, because it's really coming across. It's causing a lot of chatter. Okay. So, like, for me, I kind of was thinking, okay, who that would be for me, maybe 28 to 38 years old, maybe faith-based, maybe believe they're created for a purpose, moms that are stay-at-home moms that maybe want to try to find some type of income and, they're struggling with, they want to be at home, but they want to make a little bit of money, contribute to the family. Maybe definitely has integrity. And so you really just kind of mess around with that. But what now your action step is to identify who your target market is and then describe the idea of what this perfect coach is, write it down, and then even find a picture kind of what this perfect coach looks like and post to that person. And that was like really like, whoa, like, what do you mean post to that person? Well, you like literally write the post as if you were writing to the ideal coach you created, and she literally says that's how she finds all her coaches. Like she wants to find certain people, so every one of her posts are attracting exactly who she wants. So what she does then is she takes this idea of this ideal coach and she starts creating a monthly marketing plan, which is what are you going to advertise? When will you advertise it? And who are you trying to attract? And she literally chooses new campaign themes each month. And I thought this was interesting, and it's not something that you necessarily have to do, but she's a top coach and it's working for her. And I thought it'd be like, literally she's like, says she's sitting in the grocery store and she's reading a book and she sees like a theme, like fire, like a fire, like inspire your fire within or something. She said she saw a magazine and she was like, that'd be a really cool theme to try to get some coaches on my team. So she created like She created like a picture with that, and she created like a post that related to that. And then throughout the week, she made a video about it. And she really thinks about a theme for each month, and every post is related to that theme, and that's how she runs her business. So each month she chooses a different thing. So one month she said it was like Battle of the Bulge. Next month it was like Busy Moms Get Fit. Next month it was, what did she say? Cash for Christmas. Just different types of stuff. Hey, stop, Makani. Have a pen and write. Sorry. And so she was doing themes. And then the main thing about this was that before you launch, before you post, just make sure you're thinking with purpose. Okay? What are those people that I want to post to want to hear? Is it people that are afraid to fail? Is it people that don't have a lot of money? Is it people like feeling in your gut that you could be good, but you're not getting out of your comfort zone? Explain exactly why you want this person and post about that. Tell them why they'd be good on your team. Tell them why they'd be awesome in a challenge group. And she said she does it for a challenge group. She advertises to a challenge group for a couple weeks, and then she does the same thing and creates a monthly theme for her coaching groups. So she writes a blog post. She creates YouTube videos. She creates what she calls campaign images, like pictures on PicMonkey, and then she does a whole theme. And I thought that, why couldn't my team do that? Why couldn't we do that? And so just be thinking with purpose. All I want you to do is, if you get anything out of this, think with purpose. And she says eye-catching images really do matter. So creating an image that represents you does matter. What you are advertising for, depict what you're advertising for. It's your job to get better at things like PicMonkey and to do tutorials in the YouTube. They're all free. Just take a day and learn how to make better pictures. And she says that does matter for your business. So she says definitely the times of the day matter. For her, it's the evenings when people are in bed, because your market depends on who you're advertising to. But for her, let's say she's advertising to moms, evenings in bed, first thing in the morning, and noon during nap times matter. Okay? So the main thing, she just suggested create a monthly marketing plan. Focus, make a post related to that plan each day, and kind of get in bits and pieces each day. So then what she does is she uses the theme and posts to that theme for 2 weeks and advertises to that theme for 2 weeks. And then, so you talk about your coaching opportunity for 1 to 2 weeks. So instead of just inviting for one day, hey, my team is doing this, you now have this theme who you're advertising to. And you always create a sense of urgency. Okay, I'm taking 5 women that I really want to mentor hand one-on-one, and talk about what type of women that you want, okay? Then she really talked about leading business opportunity calls, coach online office calls. Sorry, not coach. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Business opportunity calls that we do. Like I did the first one this month. I'm going to be doing that every single month. We're going to be putting that into our system. It just gives you an extra level of credibility. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I have the systems in place. But once you become a Beachbody coach, once you become any coaches underneath you, you start to become a leader. So the more that you can do these things on your own and branch out and say, hey, I know Kiana runs this open house, but I want to run an open house in my team, okay? Now, maybe you only have one team, one coach and 2 coaches, and that won't work very well, and that's okay. But you can totally lead coach opportunity calls. And she said for the first 5 months, she would advertise for these opportunity calls, which is basically saying you're going to talk about the opportunity. They have an online script in the back office. You usually share a story or share some type of story. She literally talked about, like, you can pre-record it, put it on, like, upload it to YouTube and say you're going to have a live video at 9 o'clock and just upload it at 9 and then share with people the link. So it's already pre-recorded, but yet it goes live, quote, at 9 o'clock. And so practice getting yourself in front of the camera and talking. And she said the very first time she did it, she thought she was going to have like 10 people and no one showed up, and she still posted it. She still did it. She still made it consistency to do that every single month, add it into her network. So the main thing is to think about how you're going to create a system for what you want to do. The other thing is, every one of you should write this down. You need to go to Wufoo, WUFOO.com, and create a coaching application. I will share my example. I will share some examples from another coach. You can even go to Melanie Mitro's blog, and she has it posted there. Now, what is this? It's a free program that allows you to become a little bit more professional in our world, and having them apply for an application and to be a coach. Like, you find out a little bit more about them. She says she posts that link when she's posting these I'm sorry, I don't know what is going on with my daughter. She posts these links like directly on her posts, but she also, in conversations with people, will say, if they ask about the coaching opportunity, she says, thanks so much for writing me, like, I'd love to get to know you better. Here's my link, can you fill this out? And so she has their information. And it's really a cool thing. It basically, you can use like multiple choice questions, you can fill in paragraph format. I'll give you my example. And I use that for anyone that wants to apply to be a coach too. And that should be like a non-negotiable. You should just have that. It's free. We all should be doing that. So the last thing she talked about is just building confidence in coaches. And, you know, this stuff is really good for myself and just sharing with the team, is that whether you're going to be a successful coach, an elite coach, or a top coach, you all have to have some type of confidence. And we all struggle with confidence in one ways or another. So you need to put yourself in a position to be a leader. So if that's volunteering to do our webinars, if that's volunteering to do a team call, if that's saying, Kiana, how can I help the team? If you haven't started your own team, if it's starting your own group with your 2 coaches that you have, do that. Put yourself in a leadership role, okay? Post eye-catching images that increase high traffic that you can, and make them confident. Be confident about what you can offer to people. Shift the wording in your posts and believe that what you're doing is, I guess she was saying that confidence naturally builds over time, and that you have to practice these best recruiting posts. And you have to practice and look at people. So, you know, on our team page, we have a photos. And if you click on the photos and it says, I literally I've done this before, where I give you examples of how to recruit posts that I like, and examples of how to invite, like wording that I liked. You should be looking at those to how to post, because I'm giving you examples of things that I know work. And so just look at those before you post. Look and see how other people post, and find people that you like and copy it and change it into your words, and just really look at what other people are doing. And as you do that, you build confidence knowing that you're doing the same thing. As you build these systems, you're not worried about if you're going to attract a coach or build a team, because you're doing the same thing each month. You're inviting to the webinar on the 2nd of each month, or you're doing the open house on the 4th of the month. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you're doing the same thing every single month. And so it builds confidence in you as a young coach, because you're doing that. Hold on. No. Get into this. I'm sorry, you guys. My husband's sick, so he's like sleeping upstairs, and I'm trying to deal with all the 3 kids. Yes. Yeah, go ahead and get it. Go get it. That's fine. Okay. So here are some action steps. Always include a professional, fun, eye-catching image. Post 3 to 5 times every day, and invite every day. And if you're not inviting every day, you're missing the boat. We know that, okay? And ask, like, if you're doing a post and you're talking about the invite opportunity, or you're doing a challenge group, post on our team page and just say, does this look good? Like, what would you change? She said they're always providing feedback for each other. Create a campaign for the next couple months and see if it works for you. See if that's something that you want to do, and then get systems set in place. So you should be using every single month our open house. Like, we do it every month. Okay, usually we do it the 2nd week of Monday of each month. I'm going to look a little bit at my schedule, and I will let you know in the next couple days exactly when we're going to do this, because there is something to say to have it at the end of the month, so that you can start any new trainings on the 1st of the month. I don't even know if that makes sense to you, but she was saying that it does, like, planning is strategic and it does matter. So, like, you know, starting to post about your challenge group 2 days before you're supposed to start the challenge group, we all know doesn't work, right? You can maybe get 1 or 2 people, but you gotta be strategic, and you gotta have, okay? So, and the last thing she said was, you know, like, sharing your failures with your team, talking to your team of coaches, really, really is important. and tracking your success, like writing things down and saying, here's what I'm doing, and seeing, okay, I did it this way and I got 10 challengers, or I did it this way and I got 1 challenger. It didn't work. Like this post didn't work. And then continuously changing things knows like you really can track your success. So usually coaches fall off around 3 to 6 months, she was saying. Like if they're gonna, it's just, that's where they mostly struggle, like new coaches. So you can kind of ask yourself, am I in that situation? Am I struggling? And what can I do to kind of move forward? So she basically said she gets her head down, she goes to work, she always does personal development every single day. And she literally tells herself quitting is not an option. Like if I'm struggling, if I haven't made Success Club, if I haven't signed a coach, it's just not an option because I know that this is the avenue that I'm going to provide for my family. And, you know, all of this stuff, like you can say maybe, oh, you know, no, I don't know if I want to change. I'm comfortable. But you guys, she signed 376 coaches last year, and she's the #1 coach in America. So take it for what it's worth. Like you don't sometimes understand. Like you might say, well, that's not going to work for me. And that's okay. You don't have to take everything, but focus on the little things that she was saying. Like there is something to say about having a plan. If you're just kind of throwing things up everywhere and it's like not working for you, get yourself a plan and get a system in place. Okay. And and I want you to know that when you invite coaches onto the team, when you invite coaches to get here, like they're going to be put into these systems. Like we have an open house for them to put in. I'm going to help you I'm going to help you have a place where you can recruit coaches. And then you can get into more systems with like this week we're going to do, everyone should be doing a clean eating group or some type of free group each month. Okay. Everyone should be doing X, Y, and Z, whatever. Okay. So just get a marketing plan down each month and just take a couple hours to think about who do I want to market to this month? Who can be like today? It's January. It's January. So Leilani, can you grab that? It's January. So who, my daughter's picking up empty beer bottles. Sorry, that would be my, okay. Anyhow, yeah, awesome. Leilani, get that from her. She can't have those chips. She's shaking them all over. Oh, gosh. Can you get her, Leilani, can you get her a white bar, please? I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Okay, now the last person I want to talk to you about is Trina Gray. Leilani, can you get that for her, please? Let's see how much time I have here. Okay, Trina Gray is by far, let me grab this bar. Hold on. Hey, Leilani, stop. I'm not coming here. Have that? Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. I'm going to get as much information I can. Trina Gray is phenomenal. Like love her. Like she's a superstar diamond coach. She literally like is life-changing every time I hear her speak. If you could ever see her in person, if you could ever like just listen to anything that she does, amazing. Okay. So she tells everything in stories, and she's really awesome. So she always tells you stories and like what will you remember. So I'm just going to give you some things that she talked about, and really she's like the one that I really like was like, whoa, I want to do these things. So there is only one you, okay? And imitation is the fastest way to failure. If you try to imitate any other people, it's the fastest way to failure, okay? You need to set your path to follow, and it's okay to do it your own way. She said, yes, take bits and pieces from what we're saying today. But if you learn anything from me today, you need to find your voice. And I'm giving you permission to find your voice. Do the things, you're your own CEO, okay? You can do what you want to do. And she said, a lot of coaches have a hard time finding their voice. They don't understand that they can do things differently. And she gave the example that the first time she started hosting a Super Saturday, she decided, I'm going to make this a family event. I'm going to let people invite their kids. I'm going to make a barbecue. I'm going to do a fire pit, and we're going to have a whole day celebration. Well, that really wasn't even on, like, that's not normal to do a Super Saturday. But she didn't have to get permission from anyone. She was running the Super Saturday. She was doing it herself. And that really was the event that put her on the radar of who's this person doing things differently? Like, who's this person that's inviting people's families and kids and making it an all-family event? And no one needs to give you permission to find your voice. Be who you are and follow who you are, okay? So I want to ask you to identify your top 2 to 3 strengths. Okay. Now I want you to think about other coaches, okay, that you admire, okay, that you see in other leaders, and look at their top two to three strengths. Now I want you to think of yourself that you like, and kind of become that coach. Look at who you can be, and don't worry about anyone around you, and identify your strengths and focus on those. Because her strengths was family, having fun, and running events. And so that's what she does. She does those type of things. Okay, so also, I just want you to ask yourself what you're good at and incorporate that into your business. Like, what are you good at? Like, are you good at organization? Are you good at creating these awesome, whatever it is, like, I'll literally add it into your business, okay? So one of the things that she talked about is, like, we get into become a coach, and all of a sudden we get thrown into all these groups, and it's super overwhelming. So it's really important to stay connected to the teams. Like, you don't have to have permission. You don't have to be like in 50,000 groups and like feel like you have to be part of any group. You stay connected to the teams that fit your vibe, and you follow the teams and you follow the groups that you're inspired by and not intimidated by, and you find groups that you can contribute to. And if you're in those type of groups for coaching, then you're in the right type of groups. So a lot of teams have their group, and then their bigger group, and then their bigger group, and then their bigger group, and we branch out, but we need to make sure we're staying rooted to the family tree, and that we're really connected with your own team. And as you branch out, you stay inspired and connected to those that connect you. So decide how you're going to stay connected to your upline, like our group, okay? Pick a team or leadership vibe that fits you best, and then find one way that you can contribute back to the team. Okay, so she talked a lot about how she decided to put coaches together and do Zoom calls together. So I want to start putting like maybe 5 coaches together in a group, kind of like it would be like kind of like a team cup, but you're not worried about Success Club points, and kind of vibing them together and working with them together to grow their business. So we're going to be doing something like that. So you do like a GSR together to start your 5 people, and you kind of just focus on that. So be thinking about if you know someone that you can work well with, or you know someone that would help you in your business. Like, I'm going to be starting to do calls and kind of helping with different types of things. And she said that's really been helpful. It saves time, so you don't have to do so much one-on-one, but then people vibe together and they really work together, and it's really fun. And she says she's done 5 groups of 5, and then sometimes they work amazing well, and sometimes they don't, and sometimes they do, but she always finds people that work well together. It's kind of like helping them set up for Success Buddies. The other thing that she talked about is coaches are going to hit speed bumps. We all are going to hit speed bumps, okay? Self-doubt, you know, we shut down with our negative self-talk. We start comparing to other people. So really, like, it's your job to find some type of inspiration in something, whether that's personal development, whether that is following another coach, whether that's like looking at your team, whether that's finding it within yourself, and take initiative and find people that you can relate to and focus on your business, okay? So she talked about how there's coaches that are in the closet as a Beachbody coach, which we were dying laughing, okay? She talked about, like, stop being in the closet about Beachbody. But you really need to allow, like, so she doesn't like saying, like, she says a lot of coaches get hung up on the fact that they can't, it's hard to explain, like, I'm a Beachbody coach, and that's kind of sometimes people that feels like negative, like an icky feeling because of the way that MLMs have been presented to people. So instead of being in a closet about a Beachbody coach, allow yourself to see yourself as a wellness and health and fitness advisor, okay? We're leaders. We're advocates of other people's health and fitness. Like, we don't have to be just a Beachbody coach. So, like, I look at myself and I'm a super fit lifestyle advocate for health. And then I even talked to a girl on the airplane, and she's like, what do you do? I said, I help people get fit and healthy, and I'm a wellness coach. I'm a health coach. And as the conversation presented itself, I did tell her I was a Beachbody coach. I'm not ashamed of that. But don't always lead with that, because I feel like that can sometimes get people, like, pull away. Like, they don't know what Beachbody is. And so she's like, literally said, do you run on the beach in your, like, a bikini? I was like, oh my gosh, I started laughing when she told me that. So, and the other thing she talked about was just whatever your speed bump is. So if your speed bump is I get afraid to talk to people, about Beachbody coaches. That was one way she said that you can present it. But like, you have to get over your speed bump and learn how to deal with it. If your speed bump is time, like, or you're coming to a lot of people, a lot of people are coming to you, oh, I don't have time to be Beachbody. Like, you need to present them with an idea of that they can be successful. Like, here's a coach that I have on my team, or here's a coach that I follow, like, they work full time. Like, you need to present them with opportunities to get over their speed bump. And so I want you, as we grow as coaches, like, you need to identify your biggest speed bump, find a resource to help you through your biggest speed bump, okay? And then I'm asking you as leaders to identify your biggest speed bumps and share them with your team, and then create ways to help get over them. Like, create a file in your team to say, here are some objections that I'm getting. Like, how can I help? Here's what I've been saying to these people. Like, here's what I want to do. I want to help you, okay? And I think that was a big aha thing. And then the last couple things is, she tells herself every day, no matter what, I'm the hardest working person I know today in this moment. She is an advisory board for Beachbody, but she has a full-time job. Like, she owns her own gym, and she runs other businesses. She was a coach. She did not want to quit coaching, like quit her full-time job. Like, she wanted to add Beachbody into her life. So she just said, I'm the hardest working person I know right now when I'm working Beachbody. And you just need to tell yourself that. Like, you're going to get it done, and you're going to do the things you need to do, and you're not going to let anything put your blinders on. Don't worry about what other people are doing, and do what you do best. And she said she does what she does best, and she hires the rest. Meaning, she doesn't do laundry very well. She doesn't do cleaning very well, so she hires that out. And that's a lot. We're going to talk about another called outsourcing is what it's called. And like, to make sure that you stay, I guess the last thing is to branch out and stay rooted to the tree. So we have a minute left. And I just want to tell you that I know I gave you a ton of information, but like, literally some of these things are like, and there's one other thing I didn't talk about that we're going to implement with the team, and I'll talk about that. I'll make a video about it. But it's so cool. Like, I got all this stuff, and I was so inspired to like come back to you and share with you different things that we have learned. But just know that you're unique. You run your own business, and you need to take pride in your leadership, and you need to start stepping out of your comfort zone and being a leader. If you keep telling yourself, I'm going to be a diamond, or I'm going to be a 2-star, and you're doing nothing about it, if you're not inviting 5 people a day, or if you're not asking people to get to the coach opportunity, or if you're not telling me, reaching out to your upline and saying, hey, here's where my speed bump is, I need help, it's never going to change. So identify where your speed bumps are, identify what your strengths are, like, use that in your business, and move yourself forward every single day. And I hope that this gives you an idea of what I feel like leaders